Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to work through the Tulsa Race Massacre primary source analysis. And this is an assignment that does take a little bit of explaining. So, the first thing you want to do before you even look at this chart on the first page of this assignment, I want you to scroll down and you're going to need to read about the Tulsa Massacre first. Okay, so before you do anything else, make sure you read through the Tulsa Massacre so you have an idea of what is going on and what the Tulsa Massacre is. After you have done that, you can then go back to your chart. And what we're doing here is we are looking for long-term causes of the Tulsa Massacre, immediate causes, key events that happened, like what happened during the Tulsa Massacre, and what happened after. And you're going to get all of this information from the primary and secondary sources that are further down in this document. So what you want to do is you want to first look at each of these. So primary source A, it's a newspaper. Okay, this comes from the Black Dispatch. Okay, and this newspaper article, we can zoom in a little bit. It says loot, arson, murder, $4 million lost, Sarah Page not to be found, Tulsa uh, yanks land away from blacks with fire ordinance. So this is giving an overview, kind of what happened, and it's telling what happened after. Okay, it tells us that $4 million is lost, that land is taken away. So we can go back up here, and that was primary source A. Now I need to think, does primary source A fit into a long-term cause, an immediate cause? Is it more of the key events that happened or the aftermath? I think that an argument can be made that it can either go into key events or aftermath. I'm going to go ahead and write it into aftermath. So here I would write primary source A. And then I need to explain why in the second column. So I'm just going to write source A. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little colon. Then I'm just going to explain how source A, okay, tells us that this shows the aftermath. I'm going to say this newspaper article. And if you guys want to go ahead and type this out as your first one, that is perfectly fine. This newspaper article shows what happened after the Tulsa Massacre. It tells of money being lost and land being taken away. Okay, so as you can see, it's a pretty short description. After I've done primary source A, I'll do the same thing for primary source B. Okay, this primary source B is a quote from somebody named B.C. Franklin, and it says, "The chief cause was economic. The Negroes were wealthy, and there were too many poor whites who envied them. Within 2 hours after the alleged assault had been reported, there were not a dozen white men who did not know that this alleged assault consisted of a poor, laboring Negro boy accidentally stepping on the foot of a very poor but worthy white girl while the two were on a very crowded elevator in one of the downtown business buildings." Okay, so that is primary source B, is that quote. So again, I'll go back up to my chart and I need to think, does primary source B fit best into a long-term cause, immediate cause, or key events? Okay, if I go back down, okay, he says the chief cause was economic. Okay, so I think this mostly fits into the long-term cause. I'm going to write primary source B here, and then source B. This explains that one cause to the massacre were the economic advances of the Black community and the white community envying them. Spelled envying wrong. Okay, so you're going to go through and you need to be able to sort each of these primary sources into one of those categories, just as I have done here. After you have the chart filled out, you will go here and you are going to answer the question, um, what do you think best describes what happens in Tulsa? Use evidence from the sources. Okay, so basically, is it a riot or is it a massacre? And you're going to type in your response here, given your what you have learned from the primary sources. That is how you complete this. If you are in hour 4, you can email me questions. If you are in hours 5 or 7, you can ask Miss Dyer or any other teacher in the room to help you out.